Hello, everyone, and welcome to Myriad360's recap of Cisco Live 2024. My name is Chris Brill, and I am the field CTO for Myriad360. I'm joined today by my colleagues and friends, Scott Implements and Antonio Sarabia. Scott and Antonio, do you guys want to take a second to introduce yourselves?
Certainly. Hi, everyone. My name is Scott Implements. I'm a senior solutions architect on the modern infrastructure side here at Myriad360. I'm happy to be here and doing this recap of what we learned at Cisco Live.
Hello, everyone. I'm Antonio Sarabia. I'm a senior solutions engineer here at Myriad360, and I'm very excited to be part of this live stream.
Yeah, so to kick this off, I'd like to start with talking about our expectations going and coming to Cisco Live. We each had our own, viewpoints as we hopped on a plane and headed to Las Vegas. And I know myself, I reflect a little bit while traveling from, the San Francisco Bay Area. And a kind of a hot topic that we've seen at a lot of other conferences has been AI and potential partnerships with NVIDIA. So I was curious, from a hardware perspective, what was Cisco going to announce? Were they going to announce a direct partnership with NVIDIA? Were they going to announce new products in alignment with NVIDIA? From a hardware perspective, what was that going to look like, as well as potential wrappings around their networking stack, et cetera, et cetera. Additionally, around software, I wanted to know, okay, everybody's been implementing AI. So how are they going to implement AI to add additional value, features, et cetera, to their existing portfolio of products? Additionally, with the acquisition of Splunk, I was curious, what does that mean? What does that mean to Cisco and their existing products? Are they going to start integrating? And if so, how are they going to do that? So I was really interested to hear potential announcements around Splunk. And lastly, security has been a continual theme overall for the last handful of years at Cisco. So that's something I definitely always am paying attention to, is what's going to be new in the realm of security for Cisco. So with that being said, Scott, I know that there's a lot of things that you focus on, but what were the things that you kind of thought about as you were, getting on a plane, going through an airport, coming to Cisco Live?
Really, I had talked to a few of our clients about some of the innovations that Cisco was possibly announcing, especially with around the Cisco Nutanix partnership, with a disruption in the industry with the VMware Broadcom acquisition of VMware and the change of the licensing model there. We have a lot of clients that are looking at alternatives or figuring out kind of what's going on in the market so they can understand where their applications live, and long-term strategy around their application. So that was really one of my primary focuses going in, as well as understanding how Cisco is actually what's their AI story. How are they going to implement AI in their ecosystem to better enable their products and services going forward?
So Antonio, same for you. As you traveled in, what were your thoughts? What were the things that you were going to kind of be focusing on as you came to Cisco Live?
Sure. Yeah, for me, it's been a while since I went to Cisco Live before the COVID. So it was my first Cisco Live after the pandemic. It was pretty exciting to see the event. Cisco had a really good event, more than 1,000 sessions, all the vendors that were there. So for me, it was kind of engaging with the community again. Looking, one thing that was very interesting was looking how they were integrating automation, or how they were looking about automation into their products on their Cisco line and also on their Meraki portfolio, especially on their SD-WAN technologies, because those are things that we're looking at a lot of the customers are trying to implement. So it was very interesting on looking at the differences between Meraki solution for SD-WAN and Cisco Catalyst, and also how they're integrating automation and using automation moving forward for all their products.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I think a lot of us, coming to Cisco Live, it was about 20,000 people, 25,000 people. It was big, a lot of activity, a lot of people socializing. It was great to see, the community, as strong as ever, if not stronger. So kind of moving along to kind of our, what we learned and kind of the trends and takeaways that we got from Cisco Live. I know me specifically, there were a couple of areas that I was keenly interested in, and were massive takeaways for me. The first one was around Hyperfabric. That is their AI solution, that's coming out towards the end of the year. But specifically, it's combining Cisco's Nexus 6000 switches, which they're bringing back. The 6000 switches were end of life a few years ago, and now they're bringing it back, and they're going to be bringing 400 gig and 800 gig, and a lot of other efficiencies that focus more around AI. And in addition to that, they are kind of building a reference design from NVIDIA's MGX platform to basically provide that kind of full stack of not only network but also compute, and basing that on the NVIDIA H200, Bluefield DPUs, and NIM microservices. So in addition to that, Cisco is not a storage company, so they did partner with VAST, who is a large player in the AI space, and I think that was a great announcement that they would be working side by side with VAST to bring the Hyperfabric platform and solution to market. And it is coming available, towards the end of the year. So I'm curious to see how that shapes up a bit more, what the physical hardware is going to look like from a compute perspective, as well as how they're going to stitch and tie it all together into kind of more of a full solution. So additionally from there, Hypershield was another announcement that I was really intrigued by. It was an acquisition of Isovalent that they made a little while ago. And I've been super interested in it since I heard that they had acquired, because it is a really cool technology that allows security to be brought far closer to your applications. And the way that it's done is at the OS, hypervisor, and container level to create a security fabric rather than a series of fences, traditional firewalls or whatever it might be in a traditional security stack. And then lastly, for me, Thousand Eyes. There was a lot of work over the last year that they've done on Thousand Eyes, specifically around DXA, Digital Experience Assurance, as well as Cloud and Endpoint Insights. And specifically, as it relates to Digital Experience Assurance, they're now allowing Thousand Eyes to provide value directly into Meraki dashboard. So you can actually see and access Thousand Eyes data from within the Meraki dashboard. More importantly, to get to that point, they're now collecting data from far more points in terms of cloud as well as endpoint insights. So cloud, they can now peer directly into your cloud provider to look at your, basically landscape and environment within that cloud to see your assets, your devices, et cetera, et cetera. So you get a lot more wealth of information to be able to analyze your network performance, latency, et cetera, as well as visualization. And then lastly, the endpoint, they're now collecting data from Catalyst switches, from Meraki APs and Meraki switches to be able to glean more campus level information as well in Thousand Eyes. So I think that's really cool to see how they've broadened and expanded Thousand Eyes to include a lot more functionality than previously. So, kind of moving on, Antonio and Scott, Antonio's, specifically, I know you had talked about, some of the partnerships, in speaking with me. So what were kind of the takeaways in terms of partnerships and other things that you learned at Cisco Live?
Yeah, the one that really caught my eye was the partnership that Cisco has with Ansible in Red Hat there, because it really showed how committed they are to automation and how all their products have basically all the sessions that SS2 had a part that was automation, and everything was very automation focused, and going from zero touch provisioning to configuration changes, and how everything makes that easier and more manageable for large environments. So that was something really interesting, how they Ansible is working along with Cisco on developing that part of the products. Also, something that come eyes is the now the new tools that are coming, not only on the Cisco side, but also other vendors are including automation into their tooling, gathering data, using telemetry to show you the state of the network, helping you to understand how the network is behaving, what parts of the network could potentially have issues where, so you can have a proactive way to resolve things even before an issue is arise, or users start experiencing some degradation or things like that. Also how some of the tools are not only just for monitoring or alerting, but also are getting data through SNMP, APIs, also getting some integration with other tools that you can get when you create an incident. You can create that in your ticketing systems, and basically trying to get all the tools into one, so it helps you to be more proactive and more reducing the time that you take to resolve any kind of issues. On the SD-WAN side, I was able to see that the two offerings that Cisco has for SD-WAN Catalyst and also the Meraki SD-WAN that they offered, how the market for those two solutions is different. This Meraki SD-WAN is easier to manage. It's just easy to deploy pretty much out of the box. You can just get that running, and how the Cisco solution is a more advanced feature solution where you can do a lot of customization, programmability within integration with SD access, deploy a multi-domain architecture using Cisco DNA and other products to have an end-to-end segmentation. So it was really good to have all those first-hand experiences, talking to other vendors about their solutions and how can those improve the overall health of the network and help everyone to on the networking team have a better understanding of visibility into the network and avoid any kind of unknowns basically on the environment.
Yeah, actually, you brought up some good points, specifically around, network automation. It seems like networking has kind of been one of the last areas to fully embrace and adopt network automation. And it's really cool to see Cisco and some of the partnerships that they're forging to kind of push that front and center, because that is definitely an area that we're seeing a lot of our own clients and customers, talking to us about, is how do I help automate better in my networking environments. And it's great to see that. But additionally, with the two different SD-WAN products, it does show that there's not a single use case for SD-WAN today, that the potential for a Meraki SD-WAN deployment is strong. There are a lot of campus-based organizations where they have a lot of offices, campuses, where Meraki is a great fit. But then you have some customers that, operate very traditional, data centers with production operations and applications that they have to support. They're going to benefit more from the traditional Cisco SD-WAN. So it's definitely good to see that they are positioning both of those products to give customers more of a choice. So kind of moving on from there, Scott, there was definitely, a lot learned at Cisco Live. What were some of the things that you found were really intriguing?
Well, to your point, to both of you guys' point around automation, I thought it was really interesting that there was a lot of big push around tying in Ansible automation into Nexus Dashboard Fabric Controller, which is kind of their renamed version of the manager for Nexus data center environments. And then also Cisco Intersight as well too for managing UCS environments. There's a lot of talk around stitching in automation and leveraging some of the SDKs and APIs there to be able to streamline IT operations in general. And also on the Meraki front, I thought it was interesting that they start talking about that Meraki Secure Connect is now integrated in Cisco Secure Access, which is their cloud-based security edge solution. And of course, that next generation firewall capabilities are powered by Cisco Talos. So that really kind of starts to address some of the concerns that I think that some of our clients had about Meraki not being full enterprise capable. I think also with the addition of the Cisco Catalyst switching 9300 platform into the Meraki dashboard, and those replacing the legacy Meraki MX 200 and 300 series switches. And also along with those Catalyst, traditional Catalyst feature sets, I think that really kind of changes the game for Meraki as a whole. And of course, going back to the new Cisco and Nutanix partnership, I think there was some strong announcements about how more integrated that Nutanix Prism Central management platform is going to be with Cisco Intersight, and how those two are kind of coming together, and they're building a bridge between those two management platforms so that you can have more streamlined operations when you go to deploy Nutanix as a replacement for HyperFlex going forward. So I think that's all of that is important, but and then tying in AI everywhere, basically AI integrated into cloud ops observability, vulnerability in the security space. All of that stuff really, I think, was really interesting. One of the things that I saw at Cisco Live is there was a lot of talk around AI and how integrating AI into their products to make their software products better, not necessarily focused on actually doing AI types of models specifically, except, of course, in the Hyperfabric with the NVIDIA Cisco partnership. But I think really leveraging AI as an additional capabilities in their existing tool sets. I found that interesting.
Yeah, no, really good points. AI was definitely everywhere. And I it's not just true of Cisco, it's at every other conference event that we've been at. And I think we're going to continue to see that. And more importantly, the VMware Broadcom, with Cisco end of lifing their HyperFlex product, it and the fact that the partnership with VMware, it kind of opened up some interesting doors there. Cisco had to find a potential alternative. There was definitely a soft spot there in terms of a gap, and they basically said, okay, for people transitioning away from HyperFlex or transitioning away from VMware, what's a strong option? Nutanix. Okay, let's start partnering with Nutanix. It made total sense. It was great to see that. So yeah, no, definitely all strong points, good takeaways. So, there was a lot to cover in Cisco Live. There was, to Antonio's point, there was well over 1,000 sessions, and everything from the App Dynamics observability. I did get to some of them, but a lot that they're doing there in terms of kind of a broader stretch of what they're going to be supporting, as well as single sign-on and integration with Splunk. But yeah, there was so much going on, a lot to take in. But in terms of what leaving Cisco Live, what's the future look like? For me, I strongly believe we're going to see a lot more integration with Splunk. They've already announced a fair amount of it. I've heard that they're going to continue to embrace Splunk, because of the acquisition. We're going to see it everywhere in their entire software suite of products, as well as we're also going to see additional integrations across their entire portfolio. That's kind of been Cisco's thing over the last few years, is to integrate everything wherever they can. So seeing Thousand Eyes talking to Meraki is a perfect example of that. But I think over time we're going to see a lot more of that. They're trying to make kind of a full integrated stack of products that talk to each other, provide functionality and enhancement to each other, and overall give a kind of a, not necessarily a single glass or a single dashboard to hit, but a single cohesive, holistic solution to a lot of the day-to-day, as well as monitoring, administrative, operational aspects of running Cisco products. Yeah. So in terms of your guys' opinions, Antonio, what do you think the future is going to look like? Kind of as you've left Cisco Live, where do you see things going?
Definitely, I'll say automation and AI are coming. I think, like Scott mentioned, AI was a big part of not only Cisco, but like pretty much any conference, and it's a really term that is being used everywhere right now. I think on the networking side, automation and AI in a way go together. AI basically leveraging all the information that tools can gather from your network, not only to let you know when something is not working, or alerting when something is down, but also suggesting possible solutions for issues that you're having on your network, or alerting when learning the behavior of your network, and then whenever something changes on that behavior, alerting you that something is different from how it has been for the last month or 2 months. On tools, learning and being more proactive and being more helpful in a way that is not just providing the information for you to act on, but is also providing recommendations or providing information that you as an engineer are not able to tell or see in a period of time, but just letting you know that something changed or something is different. Embrace automation. I'll say that in any company, automation is here. Products are now built, and services and applications are built with automation in mind. So embrace automation. Start an automation initiative in your company. Start with something small. Do configuration backups, small changes. You can reach out to us if you need some help with that. We have experts on automation, but I'll say something that's staying. AI is coming, I think, for good. And on the SD-WAN, I think about if that is a good solution for you to implement, because we're going to see more and more adoption of SD-WAN technologies, because it's just cheaper, it's more flexible, the visibility, the performance, the control that you have on your WAN infrastructure is way better. And like you mentioned, all the different networking features and tools and architecture are trying to come into one, not single pane of glass, but trying to become one, just to present all the information together, be able to see everything together. So SD-WAN definitely fits into that definition. So I think those the three things: automation, AI, and the adoption of more SD-WAN are the things that I see coming.
Yeah, no, those are strong points. And to your point about network automation, there is a large industry level effort to get a lot more organizations to adopt network automation. There's even a network automation conference now, AutoCon. So yeah, we're going to continue to see that. It is definitely a strong area of growth. And yeah, from a client perspective, that is an area that we do focus on as well. And we're even a participant and a sponsor of AutoCon. But also to your SD-WAN, the adoption rate is increasing, and I think over time we're going to see far more clients, needing that kind of larger holistic view of their WAN, be it branch, data center, whatever edge, IoT, you name it, whatever it might be, having a central orchestration point, having flexibility, having redundancy, that SD-WAN can truly bring you. So yeah, strong points, totally agree. And so Scott, you brought up a lot of interesting points in terms of the things that you learned from Cisco Live, talking about automate everywhere and, cloud managing everything. Where do you see the future going? Where do you see the next year, 2 years, whatever it might be, as kind of a takeaway from Cisco Live?
I feel like Cisco, through all of the acquisitions that he's made over a number of years, and some of the new product announcements over the number of years, you're seeing more consolidation. As I said, AI enhancements in just about every software and management platform that Cisco has, along with integration into a little bit more embrace of the open source community, because that is what the market demands, especially around like automation and tooling and stuff like that. Platform integration, being able to actually integrate Cisco's management platforms. Cisco has a lot of different management platforms. They're starting to consolidate because of cloud managed, they're starting to consolidate those platforms down and integrate a lot of the feature sets that historically been hard to integrate into other management platforms into single panes of glass. Because they have so many different products in so many different technology ecosystem areas, that there's never going to be a one ring to rule them all, if you will. But I think they understand that customers want ease of use and ease of operations. So they're consolidating management platforms, and they're also consolidating some of their hardware platforms as well. I talked about the Cisco Meraki, changes there, with Catalyst switches being the primary hardware going forward in the Meraki ecosystem. So I think you're going to see more and more of that, that kind of streamlining and consolidation, if you will. And of course, as we talked about, AI enhancements, automation driving everything. At the end of the day, I think Cisco understands that their customers want to streamline their IT operations so that they can focus on getting projects across the line instead of day to day, keep the lights on.
Good points. Good points. I think that was a common sentiment across a lot of customers over the last handful of years. Is there's a lot of software products, a lot of management platforms across their portfolio. And I think Cisco listened, and I think Cisco is slowly trying to kind of merge, be it campus or data center, that experience so that you can streamline from an operational perspective the amount of data, the amount of dashboards, the amount of day-to-day toiling, in tools. So it is great to see them working towards that. There is a general consensus around Meraki, a general consensus around Nexus Dashboard that Cisco is going towards. And additionally, as they slowly are adding additional features and streamlining AI into how they do business and incorporating new things into their products, it's great to see that. So yeah, all good points. I think the future looks bright for Cisco and a lot of things that they're doing. So yeah, with all that being said, Cisco Live was great. It was a few days of a lot of sessions. We had an Elton John concert. And
that was amazing. Yeah. He's an icon,
he came out of retirement. Yeah, he came out of retirement. So it was a lot of fun. Got to see a lot of familiar faces and see people I haven't seen in a while, and it was good to reconnect. So with that being said, thank you to my panel. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Antonio. It was great to have you guys on here. And I really want to thank everybody for joining our recap of Cisco Live. If you have enjoyed today's session, be sure to like and follow our page for more insights on the innovation shaping the world and how Myriad360 can help you and your company stay ahead and stay ready. To learn more about Myriad360 or to book a discovery session, visit myriad360.com or contact us at hello@myriad360.com. Thank you.